Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everybody. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour. It's really great to have you guys along this morning. So, Ukraine, the president and the Nobel Peace Prize. There are conversations about President Trump receiving the Nobel Peace Prize or being nominated for it, or is there a Ukrainian lawmaker who nominated Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize withdraws it because Trump is apparently, he's not doing enough to stop the war between Ukraine and Russia. Really? Is it that's Trump's responsibility now? This is what Ukraine apparently they feel that way. Let me close that. There we go. A Ukrainian lawmaker who had pushed for President Donald Trump to receive the Nobel Peace Prize now has withdrawn his nomination because the Russia-Ukraine ceasefire talks have stalled. And so he says that he's lost any sort of faith and belief in Trump. What about your own damn leadership? What about your own damn leadership in Ukraine? Lost any kind of faith and belief in Trump to get a oh, you have got to be, oh, help us, please. We can do nothing for ourselves. Oh man, give me a break. So now withdrawing Trump's nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize, but not so fast. Because no sooner does that happen than you have, hold on a second here. I want to find, here we go. Breitbart has got this story. Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio set to introduce a Senate resolution urging the Norwegian Nobel Committee to award Donald Trump the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize. So Trump bringing to a swift end to Iran's nuclear weapons program, diffusing the threat of war in the Middle East, all without deploying American troops. No ground troops. Done it all without troops on the ground. So that's being debated at, and I'll leave it up to you to decide as to whether or not you believe that Donald Trump, received the Nobel Peace Prize. I just think his actions speak for themselves. But in the bizarro world that we live in, you got Ukraine. Nope. Ukraine withdrawing Donald Trump. Nope. No longer believe he should. You've got to be kidding me. I mean, wow. Okay. Now, this is going to seem crazy to you when I share this, okay? Many of you will remember this commercial. Now, there's a reason I'm showing this to you, so bear with me for just a moment. This was the commercial.
At J.G. Wentworth, we say, get cash now for your structured settlement.
J.G. Wentworth, cash now?
It's your money. Use it when you need it.
J.G. Wentworth.
That's right. It's your money. Use it when you need it, right? Everybody remembers this. So now let's go to whitehouse.gov. I thought this was just absolutely incredible. I'm going to full screen this. Now watch this.
No tax on tips.
No tax on overtime.
Same guy.
With our tax bill, the average family's take-home pay will be at least $5,000 more than it was just a couple of months ago.
That's right. It's my money and I need it now.
It's my money and I need it now. It's my money and I need it now.
And this goes on.
My money and I need it now.
If you're tired of seeing your hard-earned money drained by
Now
government
tell me
taxes,
that's not
why
clever
keep
as
more
hell.
of what you make? The Trump administration can help. The big beautiful bill puts your money back where it belongs, in your pocket. Call your members of Congress today and demand a yes vote on the big beautiful bill.
The
Strengthen
big,
Social
beautiful
Security.
bill.
No tax on tips. No tax on overtime.
All right, I'm going to leave that there. You get the idea. But I think that is incredibly inspired. What a to take that J.G. Wentworth commercial. It struck my funny bone. Did you guys find that funny? Because it just really, really kind of struck my funny bone. All right, I want to show you something. One of the websites that I use, I actually am a paid subscriber to FreeSpoke. And I have one of the smaller plans on FreeSpoke. And one of the things FreeSpoke does, you don't have to subscribe. You don't have to pay anything. You want to see stories that are trending? FreeSpoke.com is a source that I use. So, for instance, every morning when I go through Belf's News Gallery, those stories that I share with you, this is where they come from. They come from FreeSpoke, one after another. So it shows you stories that are trending. And I want you to take a look at this. I want to increase the size of the screen here a little bit because what you can really see, U.S. intelligence says strikes spared Iran's nuclear sites. And this goes on. And I want you to see, Rush Limbaugh talked about this. Those of you who are fans of El Rushbo, remember Rush talking about, and he would play clips, right, of one media source after another, all saying the very same thing. And you can see it on FreeSpoke. Early U.S. intelligence report suggests U.S. strikes only set back Iran's nuclear program by months, was the story, by months. CNN, same thing, early U.S. intelligence estimate, and it goes on and on. Reuters, ABC 12, WTTW News, The Australian, NBC News, ABC News, BBC News, Yahoo News, all reporting the same thing. All reporting the very, very same thing. And totally, it's some low-level staffer, as I talked about during the radio show this morning. Some low-level staffer who's saying that no, Iran's nuclear program at best set back months, not years, months. Unbelievable. But I wanted to show you that so you can see, man, one media outlet picks it up, and especially when you see like the Associated Press or you see Reuters, man, everybody's picking up that story. It's just the same nonsense. There was Joe Rogan, who I think is absolutely incredible. And I have a lot of respect for Joe Rogan. Don't always agree with him, but I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. I think the guy is a really, really gifted communicator, interviewer, entertainer, if you want to say that. So he asked Bernie Sanders if he would run for president again, what would he do on day one? So will he run for president again? The is called to pause military aid to Israel, blah, blah, blah. The same old nonsense we're used to hearing from Bernie Sanders. And so this is where Rogan asked him, are you going to run for president again? And he said, I'm 83 years old. I'm not sure the American people would be too enthusiastic. I wouldn't be too enthusiastic anyway if he was 25 years old. I mean, no, thank you. No, thank you. So Rogan complimented Sanders for still being very with it. Said, I mean, you're a couple of years older than Biden, right? Think of that. You could be off a lot worse. No kidding. No kidding. So Sanders went on to talk about his fight oligarchy tour across. Oh, it's the same nonsense. It's just absolutely incredible. The people on the left who would be the first ones to embrace, as long as it's Democrat rule, they will absolutely embrace it. But when it's Donald Trump, I think it's pretty crazy. So there's another take on Joe Rogan and that interview. Joe Rogan destroys Bernie Sanders' climate hysteria to his face. And this is the thing about the Joe Rogan interviews. They're lengthy. So the New York Post picked up the big, is Bernie going to run again? Blah, 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 blah. So the New York Post picked that up. But during the interview, who is it who writes this post? Matt Margolis. I love the work that Matt Margolis does at PJ Media. So Sanders talking about climate change. We're used to that. Joe Rogan was having none of it. And Sanders said, you got to deal with this climate change issue. It ain't a hoax, he said. And he said this last decade was the warmest on record and that the Green New Deal would create millions of good-paying jobs. And Rogan would have none of it. And he said, here's the thing about Joe Rogan. He's just very low-key, but incredibly knowledgeable, I think. The guy is just, the amount of information that Joe Rogan's got going on. So Rogan said, the Earth's temperature has been, has never been static. It's always been up and down. It's been ice ages, heat waves. So then Rogan brought up talking about global temperatures. He says, they're in a cooling phase. And he said, look at the far end of that graph. You see, we're in a cooling period. So Sanders said, well, he hadn't read the article. Nothing like going out there and commenting on an article you haven't read, haven't seen. Rogan pointed out, climate change is a huge grift. There's a lot of money involved in this whole climate change emergency issue, and there is a lot of control. And that's where I think Joe Rogan hit it. Absolutely. A lot of control. And that's what all of that's about. Climate change, the Green New Deal, whatever you want to call it. It's the same old leftist, left-wing nonsense that we have been seeing for years and years. It's the same thing. Just first it was global warming. And then you started getting to, well, wait a minute. It turns out that the Earth's not actually warming. We're getting into we got to change the way we refer to this. Then it was climate change. Well, nobody can deny the climate's changing, right? Climate change is all over. But it's the same, using the same thing to fuel these left-wing policies, and it's just absolutely incredible when you see that. There was one other story that I had for you this morning. This alligator Alcatraz down in the Florida Everglades. Have you been following this? You may have seen this story over the course of the last few days. This story is from Tuesday. So the Trump administration approving the construction of a new Florida detention center for illegal immigrants who are awaiting deportation. They're calling it Alligator Alcatraz. And the Trump administration then is using federal funding that the Biden administration had used to house asylum seekers. And there are some comments here. There's a video. This is Florida's Attorney General. You're seeing his account here. And I want to show you this. It's pretty wild. But this is coming from Florida's Attorney General.
Attorney General James Upmeyer here at the Miami-Dade Collier training facility. This is an old, virtually abandoned airport facility right in the middle of the Everglades. Florida's been leading on immigration enforcement, supporting the Trump administration,
which
and
they have,
to detain and deport criminal aliens. The governor tasked state leaders to identify places for new temporary detention facilities. I think this is the best one. As I call it, Alligator Alcatraz. This 30 square mile area is completely surrounded by the Everglades. Presents a efficient, low-cost opportunity to build a temporary detention facility because you don't need to invest that much in the perimeter. People get out, there's not much waiting for them other than alligators and pythons. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. Within just 30 to 60 days after we begin construction, it could be up and running and could house as many as 1,000 criminal aliens.
Wow.
This presents a great opportunity for the state of Florida to work with Miami-Dade and Collier counties. Alligator Alcatraz, we're ready to go.
Alligator Alcatraz. What are your thoughts on that? I'd appreciate seeing them in the comment section. So share your thoughts. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced his support. He'll facilitate the federal government in enforcing immigration law, the office said. So Florida will continue to lead on immigration enforcement. They've been one of the states, I think, that's been pretty consistent when it comes to that kind of enforcement, and it's pretty crazy. So, hey, that's a wrap from the bunker this morning. You made it through the entire video. So you are part of my gallery of champions. A big thank you to you. And a salute to the Bunker Brigade who are here each and every day. Hit that like button if you would before you leave. I would be even more appreciative as I already am. Thanks so much for being here. Makes a real difference. And it makes it worthwhile to come down and hook up with all of you guys every day. So take care. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, I'm underground and gone.